most of the illnesses we suffer, 70 to 80% of them, is as a result of lifestyle issues. I usually tell people that, okay, God has answered your prayer and given you long life. Wouldn't you want to be healthy to enjoy that long life? A lot of our health issues have been linked to what we consume. There are certain things we should consider in food that we eat.
Yes.
One is that it should be whole food. Let your food be your medicine.
Yes.
And let your medicine be your food. We don't know what sleep does for us. And so when you avoid sleep, you don't know what you're shortchanging yourself from. We tend to think that the things we put on our plates is a depiction of how much we have arrived. You know, suya is common in Nigeria now. This suya. Ironically, it's been shown that processed meat has been directly linked with cancers.
More than 50% of you watching right now haven't subscribed yet to this channel. And I'd like you to do me a favor. Please subscribe now. It is how we continue to bring you the latest education on psychology and well-being so you can become the best at what God has created you to become. And it's also how YouTube recommends this video to more people and a bigger audience. So please do us this favor. Subscribe now and share this video. Hello, welcome. Today we are joined by the spectacular Dr. Tina Yusuf. She is a consultant family physician and a lifestyle physician as well. Her goal is to make sure that you don't fall sick, and when you do, she's by the side to help you come back alive. Her primary objective is to help you track the reason why you fall sick in the first place, your daily choices, your lifestyle. And so Dr. Tina Yusuf, welcome to the ULab Show.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Thank you. Okay, so it was Naval Ravikant who put it in context. He said that our goal in life basically is to stay alive. And what it means to stay alive is that once you are alive and healthy and fit and calm, you can pursue whatever goal that you have. And so in the context of staying alive, because which is our primary goal, you know, in life, how do we do that? What is the biggest science-backed habit that we can adopt today, incorporate in our daily life, in our habit, in our lifestyle, such that can help us stay fit and live longer? Okay,
again, it's so good to be here.
Thank you.
Now, most of the illnesses we suffer, in fact, as much as 70 to 80% of them is as a result of lifestyle issues.
Okay.
So in staying healthy, it's important that you address your lifestyle. Okay. You know, it's easy to just live as you want.
Correct.
A lot of times it doesn't start telling immediately, but just give it some time. Eventually it tells on your health. And you know, I usually tell people that, okay, God has answered your prayer and given you long life. Wouldn't you want to be healthy to enjoy that long life? Correct. So basically, one of the best things we can do to stay healthy is to address our lifestyle, and we need to do it urgently, very urgently.
Okay, addressing our lifestyle. So lifestyle is one big umbrella. So can you open up this umbrella so that we can understand what makes up this lifestyle? So what are we doing every day? What are our choices? What are we doing every day in this bucket called lifestyle? So explain to our viewers, what is this lifestyle about?
Yeah, you're right that lifestyle is a very big umbrella. And it has several things underneath it.
Okay.
But I'll put it under a few. One of them, and chief among them, is nutrition.
Okay.
What we put into our mouth. In fact, it's been said that let your food be your medicine. And let your medicine be your food. Now, that's because a lot of our health issues have been linked to what we consume.
Okay.
Both what we eat and what we drink. So there's nutrition. Then there's movement.
Okay.
You know, people tend to have this wrong notion that, hey, I'm not fat. I don't need to exercise. Movement is very key for everybody. Now, our body was not meant to stay in one place. We were meant to move. It's just like parking a car indefinitely because you don't want it to go bad. It's going to go bad.
Correct.
You know, so our body is meant to move. Our joints are meant to move. Among the lifestyle pillars too is sleep. I was asking somebody, I said, don't you sleep? And the person was like, I'll sleep when I'm rich. Imagine waiting until you're rich to sleep. You'll be sleeping in the hospital a lot. You understand? Then our mental health. It's now become a cliche these days when you hear somebody saying, "No, I'm trying to protect my mental health." But
Yes.
actually, our mental health is a very important pillar in lifestyle medicine. Then alcohol and toxic substances.
Yes.
Alcohol, smoking, vaping, shisha, then illicit drugs.
Okay.
These days now it's easy to get them. Those that take
Yes.
TM, those that take codeine, all of that.
Hmm.
There's initial good feeling it might give, but in the end, in fact, it doesn't even take a while. The side effects, the adverse effects start to tell. So there's that. Then stress management. Sadly, we are faced with stressors. Now, if you live in Nigeria, it's like stress is your default setting.
I'm telling you.
It's your default setting.
Correct.
So that's why I said stress management. I'm not saying stress avoidance.
Correct.
But stress management. So that's also a very important pillar in lifestyle medicine. So these are just some of the common pillars. Then the last one I wouldn't forget to mention is social connectedness.
Correct.
Now, I'll usually say that we were not created to live in isolation. We're not created to live by ourselves. So the connection we have with other people around us, it's very important. You'll be surprised how far-reaching isolation can go to affect a person's health. So these are the common pillars on our lifestyle medicine.
Okay, so I think you mentioned sleep, nutrition, you talked about social connection, you talked about stress management.
Yes.
Now, because we might be living the wrong way without knowing. So what are the things or habits that you see people do every day, but is actually bad for us?
Yeah, plenty. Alcohol is a common one. I was telling my son, I said, alcohol is legal for adults. Doesn't necessarily mean it is safe. So there's alcohol. We are balling now, right? We need to cruise. And these things we smoke, these things we inhale, these substances, these drugs that people take. There seems to be this epidemic right now, especially among the young adults. They just want to feel high. They want to feel euphoric. So they indulge in a lot of substances. Some of you mix them together to get a feeling. These are some of the habits that we indulge in. Consciously or unconsciously, that are damaging our health. Then this one I mentioned of somebody saying, no, I'll sleep when I'm rich. We don't know what sleep does for us. And so when you avoid sleep, you don't know what you're shortchanging yourself from. So when people be like, no, I cannot sleep now, I'm busy. And it's funny that I remember then in medical school, when we have an exam the following day, we will try to do TD, till they break,
or
TDB.
Even put our leg inside water.
So that we don't sleep.
Yes.
That's why when we come out from exam, we'll be like, it's like my brain went blank.
Correct.
Yes, your brain will go blank.
Yes.
Because the sleep your body needs to refresh and then consolidate memories. You did not sleep. So why wouldn't your brain go blank? So these are some common things. Then what we eat, God, what we eat. What we eat. I can't even say it enough. Now, we tend to think that, the things we put on our plates is a depiction of how much we have arrived.
Correct.
So you see people, they will pack several hot dogs in their plates. You see people going to eat pizza, shawarma, fizzy drinks. These are the ones that they are very damaging. It's, suya is common in Nigeria now. This suya we eat. Ironically, it's been shown that highly processed meat, in fact, processed meat, has been directly linked with cancers. Yeah, so sometimes when I see people buying and they're like, Oga Boki, give me 10,000 naira. And I'm like, hey, I wish I could just go and meet you and tell you that you don't know what you're doing to yourself.
Hold on, that suya might not be healthy.
Oh, unless you are preparing it in your kitchen. The aboki prepares it over open fire.
Yes.
You don't know what he used to prepare the fire. So the smoke that is going up one.
Yes.
So the oil he's using. Then suya has a particular color.
Yes.
Because of the condiments they use in preparing it.
Correct.
Some of the constituents of that ingredient they use in preparing suya, they are really damaging. So, these are some things that we do and we think we are balling, we are cruising, especially the younger ones. We tend to think that, no, that this is have arrived, that are actually damaging our health.
Interesting. Now, talking about what to eat, because alcohol is bad for us, suya is bad for us, shawarma and pizza, they might not be healthy for us, right?
Yes.
So, on longevity and living with less disease, what should we be eating? So what should we be eating that is healthy for us first, preserves our hormone, preserves our energy, supports our metabolism, and overall long-term health? Because, here, basically, the food we have is either is fufu, we have gari, we have yam, we have soup, we have rice, we have meat. These are like the staple of basic foods that we have around that people eat every day. So if we should not eat some of this, what should we eat then?
We shouldn't starve. So what should we eat? There are certain things we should consider in food that we eat.
Yes.
One is that it should be whole food. Now, whole food means that you should be able to trace, okay, this thing I'm eating is similar to the farm produce.
Okay.
You understand? Now, whole food means that, so things like potatoes, yam, the fufu you mentioned, the gari, they are not bad in themselves.
Okay.
The problem is we eat a lot of it and then we don't balance it out. We used to learn balanced diet then in school, and then it was looking like, what this thing that they're talking about. But that is what we have to eat for longevity. So it's not that you should avoid fufu or potato, or you should not eat rice. You should eat it, but the quantity you eat, you should manage it. Secondly, you must prioritize protein.
Okay.
So you're eating potatoes. Eat it with egg.
Okay.
That's where there's protein.
Yes.
Now, you prioritize protein because protein is what helps you to build muscle, is what helps to maintain your metabolism, and then help your hormones to stay balanced.
Protein.
Yes. 3 is that there should be fiber. Fiber means that the food should have vegetables. Vegetables are very important. So vegetables help you feel full.
Okay.
So you don't not have to eat a lot of yam to feel like you're now satisfied.
Yeah.
Now, whole food also contains fiber. So if you're eating yam rather than poundo yam, you can eat pounded yam. But when you're eating poundo yam, you're not eating processed food or over processed food, because you don't know what they put inside to increase the quantity and for them to sell it.
Yeah.
So prioritize eating pounded yam over poundo yam. Prioritize eating yam over semo. So yam is whole food. Semo is said to have been derived from yam.
Yes.
Then prioritize eating things like brown rice over foreign rice, because foreign rice, they would first of all put it through processes to make it look good and then give it a sharp color that attracts you to buy it. So they've gone through certain processes that have deprived them of their fiber. So whole food means that you're getting the carbohydrate there, but you're also getting the fiber content. So prioritize eating protein, prioritize eating fiber. Then please leave out refined sugar as much as you can. So you see all these white sugar we add, including the brown sugar. Sugar is actually sugar. Honey, sugar.
Honey too?
Yes, honey is sugar.
Honey too? Natural honey?
It is sugar. Now, so you reduce that. Then fizzy drinks, like any drink that I used to say, any drink that makes when you open it is fizzy drink. It's better not to eat them, because when you take those drinks, your blood sugar spikes. So it increases your sugar rapidly. Now, when it increases your sugar rapidly, certain hormones are released because your body has to try and manage that sugar. So when you keep doing that repeatedly, after some time, your body becomes resistant to that hormone that's meant to manage your sugar. Then people now start ending up with diabetes, start ending up with excess abdominal fat. So if you want to eat healthy, prioritize eating protein, moderate carbohydrate, and let it be whole food. So please leave out noodles, especially the popular ones in Nigeria. There are some noodles that are actually good, but the popular ones in Nigeria, we usually say that it is paper we are eating. The only thing that is paper with a lot of sodium, and then we'll now put egg and say no, it's paper. It's because it doesn't have nutritional value. And then when they now put all those preservatives, put a lot of sodium to make it taste nice, we're just messing up our system. So to eat healthy, eat whole food, fiber, protein, lots of vegetables, lots of fruits, then leave out anything refined as much as you can. Now, the challenge usually comes when we try to restrict a person's diet completely. So I would usually say that if you want to, you can occasionally indulge, but let it be something you do once in a very long while.
Okay.
Because it's our consistent habits that
So
shape our health.
what do you mean by indulge?
Yeah, like maybe you want to take fruit juice.
Okay.
That's natural fruit juice, so not the one they sell on the shelf
Okay,
in the
natural
supermarket.
fruit juice.
Yes.
Like orange.
Like, yes, orange.
So
pineapple.
normally we should not take orange.
No, it's safer to avoid those drinks.
My God.
Now I'll explain why, so that it
Please.
won't look like I'm the bearer of bad news.
Yes.
Now, the natural fruit juice that you've used your juice maker to make,
Yes.
it just contains the liquid.
Yes.
Now that liquid has a lot of sugar.
Okay.
That's one. Then two is that you've extracted the fiber. The chaff you throw away, that's the fiber.
Correct.
And that fiber is important for maintaining your blood sugar and for keeping you full. That's why you need to drink a full bottle of orange juice. Meanwhile, you may not even be able to finish 5 oranges.
Correct.
Do you understand? So now when you take that bottle of fruit juice, it spikes your sugar rapidly. The very same thing refined drinks do. That's the fizzy drinks do. The only thing is that this one is natural sugar.
Correct.
But it has the same effect on the body. The body will not say, okay, this one is refined sugar, this one is natural sugar. So it spikes your sugar high. Then your body tries to balance out that sugar.
Yeah.
So it releases insulin. Now you do that repeatedly. Your body keeps trying to balance out the sugar. Eventually, your body cells become resistant to insulin. And what happens in type 2 diabetes mellitus is that they are insulin resistant. So eventually, the person comes down with diabetes mellitus. So, but key is
Yes.
let your healthy food be something that is your more consistent practice.
Okay.
If you must take any other thing, let it not be a habit.
Wow. So all the canned drinks, not healthy.
At all.
All the fresh juice we squeeze out of our blenders,
Not particularly
healthy.
healthy.
Interesting. From this part of the world, you talked about protein as being a key ingredient in our metabolism. And in this part of the world, we value beans so much as protein. Is beans really protein?
Beans contains protein,
Okay.
right? But if you want to look at percentage proportion,
Yes.
carbohydrate is more in beans than the protein content. However, beans is legume. So legumes also help to stabilize the blood sugar. So it's not that beans really is just carbohydrate, but the effect it has on the body.
Okay.
It helps to balance the blood sugar. And then, beans keeps you full.
Yes.
So when, like, for example, you now eat a plate of beans or a plate of moi moi in the morning, you will be feeling full much later into the day.
Okay.
However, if you just take few slices of bread, within 3 hours, you're hungry again. So
Yes.
that beans keeps you full for a long period. So it's further helping to stabilize your blood sugar. That's why it's actually more advantageous
Okay. But clearly, beans has more carbohydrate than protein. However, it's still a healthy alternative,
It's still
right?
a healthier alternative, yes.
From this side of the world, when I was growing up, if we see someone with a pot belly, we say he's a rich man. Yes, when I was young, it was a sign of, wealth and all that.
Yes.
But as I began to grow up, I found out that it's not really a sign of wealth. It might be diseases packed up and explosion waiting to happen.
Waiting to happen. You got
Okay.
it.
So, and these days, a lot of people want to deal with that because our eyes are opening to knowledge and information that this is purely unhealthy for us. So, what is the fastest evidence-based way to lose stubborn belly fat naturally without starving ourselves, counting calories, or, doing so much?
Yes. This thing you said about big tummy being evidence of wealth. Some people say, especially I think our Orobo brothers, they'll say, if I don't have tummy, how will I tie my wrapper?
Okay.
Unfortunately, like you clearly pointed out,
Yeah.
it's like a ticking time bomb. It's just waiting to happen.
Yeah.
So now, what can we do to lose it fast? I'll usually say that we cannot spot reduce. That means that you cannot say, I want to only reduce my tummy.
Okay.
So to lose belly fat, you have to lose weight. Because there's nothing you're doing that you're not going to send it message and say, you see, just go to only my stomach. Or ladies usually say, I don't want anything to happen to my bum bum.
Yes.
But we cannot spot reduce. So to reduce belly fat, we have to reduce weight. How do we reduce weight? One is that we must limit our calories. That means that a slight reduction in because for you to get that tummy, for you to have gotten that tummy, there were certain things you were eating in certain quantities that got you there.
Correct.
So to get rid of that tummy, you have to reverse it. One is you reduce your calories, reduce the quantity of calories you're taking per day, 300 to 500 reduction.
Okay.
But it might be difficult for a person, like I'm talking to somebody and say reduce it by 300 to 500. So what I usually say is the quantity of food you used to take, let's reduce that. Okay. That's one. Then two, like I earlier mentioned, prioritize eating whole food rather than refined food.
Okay.
So instead of eating bread, eat akamu. That's pap. Instead of eating semo, eat fufu.
Okay.
Importantly is your quantity. Now, what that does is that it reduces you've reduced the quantity you're eating, and then you're giving yourself fiber because you're eating whole food. Now, what fiber will do is that it will make you feel full. So that means you not get to eat less.
Yeah.
Two is that it also stabilizes your blood sugar. Now, three is that there's something you mentioned about not starving ourselves.
Yes.
Unfortunately, starving is counterproductive for belly fat. The reason is when you starve, your body is stressed.
Okay.
When your body is stressed, it releases cortisol. What cortisol does is that cortisol now conserves fat.
Oh.
So cortisol will start it will cause insulin to be released and several other hormones that now tries to conserve, because the body is like, it's in panic mode. Like there's no food anywhere. I'm starving. So the body goes into panic mode and that tries to conserve what it has. So you're not really helping yourself in the long run. So initially you may lose weight, but by the time the cortisol is high enough, the body starts to conserve, tries to protect, because our brain will always try to protect us.
Correct.
So the brain sends message that all is not well here. They start to conserve fat. So it's in the end, it's counterproductive. So instead, reduce the quantity of food you take whole food, prioritize protein. Protein will now help you to build muscle, because to reduce belly fat, the muscles of the abdomen also have to be stronger.
Okay.
So protein will help you to build muscle. Then it will also help to stabilize your blood sugar. Then fiber, vegetables, fruits, nuts, seed would also help you to feel full, improve your satiety, and then also help to decrease that cortisol that's triggered the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then to lose belly fat, you must exercise. You have to exercise. There's no way around it. You really need to exercise, and you need to sleep. You don't need to, if you're stressed, you won't lose weight.
If you're stressed,
yes, if you're stressed, you won't lose weight. You also need to sleep, because it's in sleeping that a lot of regulation starts to take place. You need to sleep. And then stress management also includes maintaining connection with people, good connection. Because when you are lonely, when you are alone, the brain sends signals that all is not well, releases cortisol again, and everything just starts to go haywire. So like I said, eat right.
Yeah.
Please sleep. Drink water. Then cut out fizzy drinks. Fizzy drinks again. They need to be cut out. So the whole refined products like, pastries, burger, shawarma, biscuits, small chops. Our small chops. It has still collected stray bullet. So it's better to cut all of those out if you're really serious about losing belly fat.
You talked about food. If I want to lose belly fat, I must cut calories somehow.
Yes, you must reduce calories.
But for everyday person, I found out that it's difficult to actually, because the first problem is that we don't understand the caloric dense or the caloric weight of whatever we eat in the first place. True. So let's say I'm eating 2 wraps of eba and a plate of soup with 3 meat. Ideally, that might be more than 2,000 calories.
Yes.
Okay. True. And my caloric requirement for a day as an adult is within 2,000 something,
yes,
right?
2,000.
But in one meal alone,
you're using the whole thing.
I've taken what I'm supposed to take for the whole day, and I'll still take afternoon. I'll still take evening. So how can we really manage? Because I think is a big problem.
Yes, it is.
If you really don't know, because that's why people will tell you, I don't really eat I only eat once in a day, but this weight I refuse to go. But in one meal, they might be taking 5,000 calories.
Yes, true.
And the weight won't go.
It cannot go
So
now.
how do we understand that even the nuts? Because I learned recently that a handful of nuts might be more than 1,000.
Yes,
just
true.
a handful. So some people eat a full nut.
I only ate granite.
Saying I only ate granite. But that granite you ate might be more than 3,000. So how do we now say, okay, how do we understand that whatever we're eating, do we need a scale at home, or just do we use our common sense to say, let's just take it in small proportions? How can we do that?
Okay, You mentioned scale.
Yes.
Scale is objective. So
Okay.
it gives you an exact measurement of what you're eating. If you can do that, it's fine. However, if you cannot do that, I would usually say that, you know what you used to eat before? Reduce it first by half.
Okay.
Reduce it first. So like you mentioned,
Okay.
2 wraps of eba, and then a plate of soup with 3 meats. Please just take 1 wrap and then stick with 1 meat for
First.
starters.
Okay.
Then lots of vegetable. You'll feel full. Now the stomach is a funny thing. The stomach is elastic.
Yes.
So, but because you've been eating 3 wraps of fufu, it expanded to accommodate that quantity.
Yes.
And that's the only way you can feel full, when you take 3 wraps of fufu. But by the time you reduce the quantity to 1, initially you might feel like, man, I never chop anything.
Yeah, you never believe food.
I never
gauge.
gauge. You know, but because the stomach is elastic, when it now sees that, okay, this is the current quantity, it now starts to contract to adapt to that size. So you will now feel full with that same one wrap of fufu. You understand? So now you now notice that if you now try to eat 2 wraps of fufu, you will feel bloated. You will feel like your stomach wants to burst because the stomach has now adapted to 1 wrap.
But this intelligence doesn't happen immediately. Does it happen instantly?
No, it doesn't happen instantly.
Oh.
So if I'm counseling a person, I usually say that reduce the quantity. So let's start with reducing it by half first. So that, because if you tell them extreme measures, they will run away.
Yes.
So I would usually say reduce it by half first. Take a lot of soup. So let's say you're taking okra soup, very beautiful, but let the soup be more. You know, then in between, if you feel hungry,
yes,
you can now snack on fruits or vegetables. So that means that if you want to eat healthy, it starts from what you buy and keep in your house.
Correct.
Because say, for example, the only thing I have in my house is biscuits and puff puff or meat pie. If I feel like I want to eat something, if I feel hungry, that's what I'll go and eat.
Yes.
But if you don't buy that and you buy maybe cucumber, watermelon, when you feel hungry, you're more likely to snack on that.
Yes.
So that's what I usually tell them. So when you do that, in between meals, if you feel hungry, snack on things like that. After some time, your body adapts. Because if you starve, I already mentioned, it's counterproductive.
Yeah.
And then you already mentioned that people tell you, I only eat once a day. But that once a day is like they want to eat elephant. But they have to try, because the brain sends signal that I'm starved. So they naturally will want to pile up on the food so that they will feel okay.
Yeah.
Especially because now only this one I go chop.
Yeah.
So they eat a lot of it. And so it's even better to eat 2 small meals or 3 small meals than to eat 1 big meal.
Also talking about losing belly fat, you know, what is the role of muscle? Because I think it was a pro doctor that I saw one of his videos recently. He was talking about, if you want to live long, you must build muscle.
Oh, yes. You
okay.
must.
So is strength training and muscle mass the number 1 anti-aging secret for man and woman? And what role does it play in same losing belly fat?
Okay. Muscle is important for longevity.
Okay.
Now, one of the reasons why it's important is that, you know, as people age, naturally, we start to lose muscle.
Yeah.
Right? So, for example, once a person hits 30, muscle mass naturally starts to reduce.
Yeah.
Then when a woman hits menopause, the decline is sharp. Very sharp. So we naturally start to lose muscle. That's one. Then 2 is that when we have muscle, it helps to stabilize our hormones.
Okay.
It helps us to feel strong. You know, as we grow older, if we're not doing anything about it, older people are more likely to be frail.
Correct.
An older person is more likely to fall down.
Yes.
But a person who was conscious about building muscle feels stronger. So the more muscle mass you have, the more muscle strength you have. That's one of the reasons why men are naturally physically stronger than women, because they have more muscle mass. You know, so things like that. So if you're not consciously building your muscle mass, you're more likely to be frail. You're more likely to fall as you age. And when an elderly person falls, there's already a lot of problems because their immunity is already low. Naturally, immunity tends to decline the older we get. So treating falls is tricky. Now, an elderly person is more likely to have frail bones. So a lot of times once they fall, bone must break. Is it an elderly person's bone you think would heal in 6 weeks? It's going to take a longer time.
Yes.
And a person who is that frail, it means that his nutrition has so far not been so good.
Yes.
So the immunity is poor, the bone is poor. And then, so when they're now bedridden, they now start having bed sores. Bed sores are more likely to get infected because their immunity is low. So it's just a mad cycle. Now, I would usually hear people say that, why are you carrying weight? Are you preparing for war?
Yes.
Especially for females. They usually taunt females that you preparing for war. You go beat your husband for house. So sadly, it's just a very is a wrong notion to have, especially for the females. Like I mentioned, we lose muscle. In fact, ab initio, we have lower muscle mass.
Yes.
Females have lower muscle mass than males naturally. That's one. Two is that we lose it faster, especially when we hit menopause. You know, three is that once we now hit menopause, we are more likely to accumulate fat because our metabolism reduces. So you don't have muscle, you are more likely to accumulate weight. The weight a lot of times will gather around the abdomen. So all of these is now reasons why it is important that we start early to build muscle. Because the more muscle mass we have, the more muscle strength we have. Our immunity is better, our hormones are better, our strength is better. And the risk of all those frailty, falls, immune dysfunction is low. So somebody would say, somebody was teaching us one time when I was preparing for my board certification. He said, you've made arrangements for your pension. Like, okay, when I retire, this is what I want to do. Yeah, but what is your internal pension plan?
Correct.
It's so bad that if you don't prepare your internal pension plan, that's your external pension you've saved. You're going to eat it up, battling ill health. So building muscle is like having a strong pension plan so that you're stronger as you age, you're healthier as you age. So that you not spend all your pension money on treating illness.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so aside strength training, which is for muscle, what else can we do? You know, for someone who is very busy, who does 9 to 5 every day, just like you say, living in Nigeria alone is stress on his own, just on his own. So what can I do? How can I find pockets of time? And what can I do? Is it walking? What other forms of exercise can I try?
Yeah, there are several other forms of exercise. But the fact that you are busy is even more reason you should exercise, especially if you're a regular 9 to 5er. It means that you're sitting a lot. You really need to exercise urgently.
Urgently?
Oh, yes, you need to exercise urgently. Now, that's that. Now, we already mentioned why you should strength train.
Yes.
But some people say, I don't have time to go to the gym. You don't really need to go to the gym to strength train.
Okay.
By the time you're doing squats, that's already resistance exercise. When you're climbing stairs, it's a form of resistance exercise. If you push against a wall regularly, that's a form of resistance exercise. But you mentioned other forms. Walking is underrated, but it's very advantageous. So say you think you're busy, too busy to exercise, you should walk. Now, walking is not something you do. I did it 2 weeks ago, therefore I've walked. No, it's something that you should inculcate, like it should be more regular. That's one. Two is you can dance. Put on music and dance. Now, the effect is dual because you're burning calories, so you're exercising really, and then it improves your mood. So if you feel you can't do something else, you could dance. Climb stairs instead of taking the elevator. Maybe your office is on the 4th floor, or you go to a hotel. You ask waiting for elevator to come down because you want to go to 2nd floor. We're doing that, so really. So climb stairs instead of the elevator. Park your car far so that you don't go straight from the car to the elevator to your seat. That's another thing you can do. Then gardening. Gardening is also something you can do. You can I already mentioned dancing. The same thing, playing with children. Have you played with your sons before? Playing with children, it's energetic. You need a lot of energy to do that. Right. So that's also a form of exercise you can do. So these are some things we can do in our own little space. Then you can just get up and stretch. Now, especially the 9 to 5er who has to, especially bankers, people like bankers, even doctors, some set of doctors sit a lot. Now, sometimes when I go to the banking hall, I'll just be looking at the teller. I'll be like, this person, I hope he actually gets to stand up. Just stand up. Move around. Just walk around your seat. Or just stand up and do your transaction. Okay. You can stand and press your computer or something. But just ensure that you're not sitting for too long. Because by the time you're sitting for too long, that sedentary activity, they wait for you for front, really. So these are things we can do in our own little spaces, our own whatever time we have. So even if you have 1 hour, 30 minutes, 20 minutes,
Yeah.
put in something. A little is better than nothing at all. These are some things we can do.
And interesting. I think that I don't know where I saw this, but maybe you can help me clarify this. It says exercise that is not intentional is not exercise. So let me clarify. It means assuming I work as my job entails I walk 5-kilometer walk just to meet customers and talk to them. So some people say I did 5 kilometer during work today. Is that 5 kilometer? Does the body interpret it the same way that I come home, I dress well, I say now it's for exercise? Is it the same interpretation the brain gives it?
Not necessarily. Now, the work you do to go and meet customer, one is that you might be breaking it in between. So say, for example, you walk a short while, you meet this person, walk a short while, you meet that person. So that's one. So you're not necessarily doing a stretch of exercise. That's one. Then two is that you're not likely to be doing that regularly. Now, exercise is something we do regularly. Physical activity is the one we do. In fact, as I'm talking, that's physical activity. But exercise is something that you must do regularly. The chances that you're going to be doing that 5-kilometer walk 5 times a week is slim.
Yeah.
You're more likely to do it once a week or once in a month. So exercise is, but the body interprets it as physical activity anyway. But the thing is it consistent? Exercise has to be consistent for it to really be as significant as you want it to be.
Now, stress is the number one cause of disease. You also talked about cortisol. When we take in sugar, cortisol, insulin spikes up. What is the role of these hormones? What is exactly happening, and how does it lead to stress and disease?
Okay, now stress, like I said, stress by itself is not bad. It's the one that is bad is chronic stress.
Okay.
Now, acute stress is something that maybe you're faced with an issue and then your heart rate rises, your blood pressure rises because cortisol has risen. Now, for example, I'm faced with, let's say I'm walking, right? And a car tries to hit me and then I run, right? That's a form of acute stress. Now, what happens is that as soon as your brain perceives danger, it activates a certain mechanism that releases cortisol and adrenaline. Now, what that is that it's what we call it is fight or flight. So it helps you to address that situation immediately. It will raise your heart rate, it will raise your blood pressure, it will increase blood sugar. Because cortisol increases blood, it looks for sugar anywhere in the body.
It will increase blood sugar.
Cortisol increases blood sugar. It increases blood sugar. Aim is to target that situation so that you can safely manage yourself. Now, when you're faced with chronic stress, for example, if a person has a persisting work challenge or a situation in the house, maybe marital challenges or your child is juvenile delinquent, so that means the stress is prolonged. That means that cortisol is persistently high. What happens? Heart rate is persistently high. Blood pressure is persistently high. Chronic stress means that you're not even able to sleep well. So the sleep that should have helped to regulate your hormones, you're not getting it because your mind is okay, this place, because cortisol is still high because you're chronically stressed. So you're not sleeping well. Unfortunately, the whole system now makes people who are stressed tend to make poor food choices. Because let me just eat to have energy. They are not necessarily eating for nourishment. So you now find yourself taking things like meat pie and one fizzy drink just to on the go.
Correct.
You're not eating well. You're not sleeping well. Your hormones are all over the place. Persistently, the person now ends up with things like heart challenges, cardiovascular challenges, cholesterol problems. That's where we have high cholesterol levels, hypertension, coupled with the poor sleep, coupled with poor diet and all of that. So these are things that now predisposes a chronically stressed person to ill health. You understand? That's why you now find out that because the cortisol is persistently high, like I mentioned, it raises blood sugar. So that means that person's blood sugar is persistently high. Because blood sugar is high, the body releases insulin to combat that blood sugar. After some time, the body becomes resistant to insulin. That person now ends up with type 2 diabetes mellitus. So these are some of the ways that being chronically stressed predisposes a person to ill health.
So talking about being chronically stressed, because I see a lot of people every day, just like you said, just being in Nigeria alone is enough to make you chronically stressed. From the news, it's bad news every day. Some people work in an environment where is one politicking, one issue that keeps them constantly stressed. Somehow you can't avoid the environment because bills have still got to be paid.
Yeah.
But in this, I want to believe there is something someone who is in that position can do. So I like to ask, what is vagus nerve reset? And what does it, how can it help with this, someone who is chronically, apart from maybe any other idea that you have for such person who is chronically stressed, how can it help with such situation? Bringing calm instantly when you need it.
Okay. Vagus nerve reset. It's about resetting the system, right?
Okay.
Now, I mentioned that a stressed person has the whole hormones all over the place and all of that. Funny enough, aside that, now stressed people are more likely to battle with mood problems,
Yes.
anxiety, depression. That's because cortisol is up. Things like serotonin and dopamine are low.
Yeah.
So a person who has low serotonin or dopamine is more likely to battle mood challenges.
Correct.
So that's why they are more likely to have anxiety, depression. So imagine being anxious on top of the stress. So the person is just running around in a mad cycle. Now, what vagus nerve is? Now, the vagus nerve is the longest nerve in the body, right? So it comes out from the brain and then runs a whole long distance before it gets to the intestine and ends up. It has several branches.
Oh, one nerve runs from the head.
One nerve, yes. So in vagus nerve reset, we are trying to institute calm. So now what it means is that we are trying to get our system to calm down. I mentioned that we're not talking of stress avoidance necessarily because it may not even be possible to avoid stress, but it's managing stress. Now, one of the things we can do to get this vagus nerve reset is deep calming breath.
Deep calming breath.
Yes. Now, how do we do that? You just breathe in and then breathe out slowly.
Okay.
Breathe in and then breathe out slowly. But let the breathing out be longer than the breathing in. So you breathe in for about 4 seconds. So you breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you slowly let it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the exhale, that's the breathing out, is longer than the breathing in. You do that repeatedly. You would have calm. So that breathing out and breathing in activates that part of the vagus nerve that passes through the lungs. And then under the diaphragm, that's the muscle that separates the chest from the abdomen. So it activates the nerve and then now brings in calm. It helps you to feel calm. So even if you're faced with a stressful situation, it kind of like helps to reset it. Now, for example, I typically don't like oral exams. So when I had to go for my my part 2 exam to become a consultant, I had these palpitations. Like my heart was beating fast. What are they going to ask me? Am I going to answer well? What do I do? In and then out. But each time that agitation starts to come in and out, that's one way. Another way, just splash cold water on your face. Splash cold water on your face. It activates the vagus nerve and then brings some calm. Splashing cold water on your face, taking a cold shower. That's why you usually hear, just go bath cold water. Now, what it does is that it helps to restore some calm. Even if you can even take a cold pack, like a cold ice pack, put it on the back of your neck, or here by the carotid. The vagus nerve also passes through this place, so it activates the vagus nerve and then brings calm. So the heart rate starts to come down. The blood pressure starts to come down. Your breathing starts to slow. So that palpitations I was having, which is a very fast heart rate, it starts to bring it down. That's another thing you can do. Another thing you can do is sing.
Oh, sing.
Because the vagus nerve pass through the vocal cords. The vagus nerve too waka. So you just, in fact, even if you don't have it, you don't need to have a wonderful voice to sing. Just sing. Or hum. Because of the cause of the vagus nerve, it activates it. It stimulates the whole calming mechanism. So those are some things you can do. Take a cold bath. Now, meditation is another one. You just sit still and try to clear your head. Now that's you meditating. Just go to a quiet space, sit still, try to meditate. That's another thing you can do to restore calm to yourself. So these are some people would also say you rub your eyes, not vigorously, because the vagus nerve also passes through that place.
Yes.
So just rub the eyes gently. Then you start to feel calm. Now, the important thing about vagus nerve reset is it's not something you just do once and say, Shibi, I don't do them. And then you think that it just keeps you running. It's something you need to do repeatedly so that the calm keeps coming. So even if the stress, the agitation comes again, or you're faced with the problem, or maybe you've seen that your God is giving you problem, breathe. Just breathe. Those are things we can do to institute immediate calm while we try to address the situation. If it is something that can be addressed, these are some things we can do.
I think I love this Vegas reset already. And beside the Vegas reset, you rightly, also agreed that news is a big problem right now, because what we get is just bad news every day. Sometimes people are anxious. People don't know whether to listen to news again.
To turn off the TV.
So do we turn off the TVs because it's a big part of it's affecting our heart rates are going up just by simply watching TV.
It's true. That one thing I had to do then was a particular station I used to watch. Each time I turn on the TV, if they did not kidnap somebody, bomb exploded. If bomb did not explode, accident happened. I was like, what am I even doing on this station? It is me that has the TV.
Yeah.
It is me that turned it. So I stopped watching it. So really, what you can do is actually just go off that medium.
Even social media?
Social media is another one. Because we see different things on social media. If you have to, you can unfollow those pages. And the algorithm is such that the things you consistently watch, it consistently brings it your way.
Correct.
So when you stop watching it, after some time, it phases out of your timeline. So if you have to do that, please do that. So these are things you can do to remove some of these stressors so that we'll be sane.
Okay. Now, can anxiety and depression be reversed naturally? And talking about lifestyle, what changes can we put in place without medication? Because I find out that once you have depression, you have anxiety, the doctors are quick to start prescribing. So, but what can we do to take back? And you also talked about if your serotonin and dopamine are low, you will come down with some of this. So how can we help ourselves through our lifestyle to come out of anxiety and depression?
Okay, now there are several things we look at in prescribing lifestyle modification for somebody with anxiety and depression. One is the severity. For example, somebody who is severely depressed is likely suicidal. So those are not people we prescribe lifestyle medication for, modification for alone.
Okay.
Because by the time lifestyle effects start to take place, it might take some bit of time. Depends if you don't go. So where we prescribe lifestyle modification for anxiety and depression is if it is mild or moderate. If it's mild or moderate, we prescribe lifestyle modification. And then if it is not functionally impairing that person, so there are some people who are depressed, they cannot even go to work, they cannot interact. So we may not prescribe lifestyle modification alone for that person. However, in treatment of any form of anxiety or depression, lifestyle modification is key. Now, there are diets that are more likely to be associated with depression.
Okay.
Like all these are refined food. They are associated with increased chances of depression from studies done. Depression, anxiety, poor sleep.
Processed food.
Yes, processed food. The food we call enjoyment. They are more likely to cause depression and mood abnormalities.
Disorder.
Yes, generally. Then exercise. A person who is battling a mood problem needs to exercise. The person I would usually say that you don't necessarily have to go to the gym and start lifting weight. Just start with taking walks. Do it regularly. Now, social connection is very important. So, in treating anxiety, in fact, treating mood disorders generally, the support system of that person is key. So if it is somebody who likes to be by himself, wants to do his thing alone, it will be harder because social connection is key in managing mood disorders, both anxiety and depression. So social connection. Now ensure that we prescribe interacting with people. Your neighbor, greet them. Your colleagues at work, interact. The Bible said, "Don't forsake the gathering of the brethren." Right now, apart from the first reason why you shouldn't do that, the second reason is we're not created to function in isolation. Right. So when you mix with people, you tend to feel better.
Yeah.
It's funny that when you're alone, the brain perceives it as danger. Yes, if a predator wants to attack an animal, it will first of all try to isolate that animal, or it will attack the isolated animal. So when a person is alone, the brain perceives it as
That's a problem.
you're not safe, and then the stress hormone is released, and then the whole mechanism starts. In fact, with the stress hormone, it now causes dopamine and depression and serotonin to drop, and then it activates a part of the brain called the amygdala. The amygdala is the reactive part of the brain. So the person who is stressed is reactive. The person who is stressed, the prefrontal cortex, is the one that's supposed to help regulate our mood, is now inhibited, is now kind of depressed. So the person doesn't even have the capacity to logically think things through. So both the reactive person and the person who doesn't logically think things through are anxious.
Yes.
So these are some of the things you can do. So both nutrition, exercise, social connection, avoidance of alcohol, and all of those things. Because alcohol is a depressant. Yes, it is a depressant. It is a depressant. Alcohol is a depressant. Initially, it gives this feeling of high.
Yes.
But the function on the brain is a depressive effect. So alcohol abuse, substances abuse, all of these substances we tend to abuse. These are some things that the person now also needs to avoid to be able to battle anxiety and depression. But like I said, lifestyle alone, we don't use it for severe depression, but in mild to moderate cases, we can handle it with lifestyle modification. In that lifestyle modification, we also now try to change what we call cognitive behavioral therapy, where we now talk to the person and try to help correct those notions in the person's head, because the person has some certain thoughts that's also more predominant when they are depressed or anxious. So those are some things that lifestyle modification can help to reverse.
Interesting. And you talked about earlier sleep. I've heard some people say, I'm not sleeping until I make money. There's no sleep till I hammer. But really, how much sleep do we need?
As adults, every age range has their sleep needs. Like children need longer sleep because they are growing, their brain is still growing, so they need longer sleep. They need average of 12 to 16 hours, depending on the age. Like newborns need about 16 to 18 hours, which is why they're always sleeping when they're born. But adults need an average of 7 to 9 hours of sleep.
7 to 9?
Every day. Every day. Sleep, when we sleep, the body goes through several stages. There's a non-REM sleep, that's a non-rapid eye movement sleep, which has 3 different stages. Then there's a rapid eye movement sleep, right? Now, each stage of sleep has specific functions it performs. So if a person is sleeping for a shorter period, that means the person is shortchanging himself. You're not sleeping adequately to get all those cycles of sleep. And you're now depriving yourself of the benefits, repairing the body, stabilizing the mood, consolidating the memory. You're now depriving yourself of all those things. So we need an average of 7 to 9 hours to get the maximal benefit. So if you now sleep 4 hours, that means you did not get enough time in each of those stages. Now, during the non-REM sleep, that's when we sleep deeply. Like we sleep so deep that we don't even remember the dreams we have. That's when the body is fully rested. That's when the memory is consolidated. That's when the mood is stabilized. That's when metabolic wastes are eliminated. Because sleep is the brain's way of reorganizing itself. So when you don't sleep you don't get that deep sleep. You don't get those benefits. So we need 7 to 9 hours. Now, on the other extreme, people now feel, okay, since I need sleep, let me now sleep 10 hours. But it's also counterproductive.
Oh, too much of it is bad.
Yes.
Okay.
Too much of it is, moderation is actually very key. Now, if, for example, you find out that you cannot but sleep for 10, 11, 12 hours, it means there's a problem. It means that the body is not getting restful sleep. So beyond sleeping 7 hours, that sleep has to be sound. So if you're sleeping and you keep getting woken up intermittently, you're not getting restful sleep, because each time you sleep, the body must go through all those stages of sleep. But if you keep getting woken up intermittently, that means you do not get enough REM sleep, or you do not get enough non-REM sleep. That means your body now still feels tired even after you slept 9 hours. You now find that you now need a longer time to sleep, but still the quality was impeded. So you now need to address what is disturbing your sleep.
Yeah.
That's one. Then two is longer sleep means that you're inactive for a longer period of time. So people who are sleeping too long are more at risk of heart diseases, obesity. Yes, because you're now inactive for too long. So you're now putting yourself at risk of all those things, because say you woke up and say, the time is just 8 a.m. Oh, now I still sleep. I'm not going to work until 12, and then you continue sleeping. That means you're in bed for a longer period of time. You're predisposing yourself to all of those problems. So 7 to 9 hours on the average. There's some people who can function well with 6.5 hours or 6.5 hours.
Yeah.
But as much as possible, ensure that you're within that range of sleep. So then now, there are people that they tell you that I wake up like 4 times to pee at night.
Yeah.
There's a problem.
That's a problem.
It's a problem.
4 times at night.
Yes, 4 times
It's
at
a
night.
problem.
It's actually a problem. If you're waking up more than 2 times at night to pee, there's a problem. So, sometimes what makes us wake up, we would have woken up, and then because we are awake, we now go and pee.
Yeah.
But there's something interrupting your sleep. You now need to address that thing interrupting your sleep. Or if it is the urine that wakes you up, you now need to find out, why am I peeing so much at night, and address it so that your body gets the restful sleep it needs.
Now, again, some people say, okay, I need 7 hours of sleep. So it means I can sleep by 12 p.m. and wake up early in the morning around 7. So I've completed my 7 hours. But some people say, okay, I can sleep by 10 and wake up by 6. Is the time of sleep really important? Or maybe I can sleep by 3 a.m. and make sure I get 7 hours up front? Or is the time of sleep really important?
The time of sleep is important. That's why people who are shift workers, people who work night shifts persistently, start having some health challenges later on in life. Because especially if you did not sleep at night, then you had to sleep in the day.
Okay.
Now, the body is wired to sleep at night. Okay. There's what we call the circadian rhythm. It is in such a way that once night starts to fall, the brain starts to release melatonin.
Okay.
Melatonin is a chemical that now tells the body that, okay, it's night time, it's time to go to bed. That's one. Then two is that if you're sleeping in the day rather than in the night, so say, for example, you now sleep by 3 a.m. with a plan to wake up much later in the morning, your sleep is more likely to be interrupted. You're not going to tell the person driving on the road not to press his horn.
Yeah.
You're not going to tell the children running around in your compound to stay still that you're sleeping.
Correct.
So your sleep is more likely to be interrupted. That means you're not getting restful sleep. You're getting sleep that keeps getting. So maybe you're just sleeping, you're not entering your non-REM sleep phase. And then somebody does PPP, or somebody comes to see you, or your phone rings. These are things that are more likely to happen earlier in the day or in the evening. They are less likely to happen at night. So it's better you sleep at night. Now, I would usually say that some people say, I met a patient one time that said his work is at night, he does it. So he sleeps in the day. I said, if it is possible, can you reverse it? Because he worked from home. Okay. If it's possible, you reverse it because you're not resting. What brought him to the hospital now? What stress-related symptoms?
Okay.
You understand? So for me to now treat that person, if I don't address that sleep problem, I've not done him good.
Yeah.
You understand? So the timing of sleep is, so if you're sleeping from 12 to 6, it might be fair, especially if you know that there are no likely to be disturbances around that time. And then, because I said melatonin is released when night falls.
Yeah.
When day breaks, at the first sign of daybreak, the melatonin starts to go down. That's the way the body is wired. You're not going to tell day not to break because you slept by 3 a.m. Day will still break, and then once your eyes, the room starts to become very bright, melatonin starts to go down, and the next thing, you are now becoming more awake, and the more awake you are, it means that you're no longer getting that sound sleep. So the time is actually important as far as you're trying to ensure that you sleep during the night as much as possible.
Now, I've heard someone say that most diseases start from the kitchen. Okay? Because that's where it's from there we cook, we churn out everything that's on our plate. Huh? But there are hidden toxins in our homes that we purchase with our money. So we go to supermarket, we buy
problem.
We buy problem. So how do these cosmetics, plastic, detergent, houseware, cookware, everyday product, what's their impact on our health? How can we avoid? How do we get the ones? How do we know the ones that are healthy for us, for washing plate, dishwashers, even the seed oil we cook with? So how do we know all those things?
As long as we are here on this side of the world, we cannot completely eliminate toxin.
Yeah.
What we can do is minimize our exposure to them as much as possible.
Okay.
So, for example, you already mentioned we go to the market, we buy them ourselves.
Yes.
So when you go to, in fact, the disease doesn't necessarily just start from the kitchen. It starts from where the market, what you went to buy, like you rightly mentioned. So when you go to buy things, you now need to look at, what am I buying? Look at the ingredients list. Recently, my husband bought this pack of granola.
Okay.
Granola is supposed to be healthy,
Yes.
right? But I told him, I said, I can bet you that this granola is not healthy. He said, no. I said, we went to the ingredients place.
Yes.
Oats, food, good food, right? Sugar. It was the next thing. And in writing ingredients list, the highest concentration comes first.
Okay.
So when there's oats and then the next thing is sugar, that means there's a lot of sugar. Do you know the funny thing about that granola? The banana, they said sugar sweetened banana. And then I asked myself,
inside
why are you sweetening banana? Banana is already sweet, but they still sugar sweetened it. So the ingredients was a lot. Then they still put fructose syrup. Fructose syrup is sugar. So by the time we dissected the granola, he left it for me. So it starts from what we buy. So the things we buy, we must look at the ingredients list. What are we taking? Some of these preservatives are dangerous. Look at, and we usually say that when you look at the ingredient list and it's very long, if you can't run, no. Because the longer the ingredient list, the more likely you have toxins there. They'll put preservatives, they'll put fragrance, they'll put colorants.
Yes.
So these are some of toxins we expose ourselves to frequently. So it starts from what you buy. Look at it. Look at the ingredient list. Then the same thing with plastics. It's usually better not to put food in plastic, especially hot food.
Okay.
It's now worse still when you now microwave that same plastic. The whole chemical that is there is now going to be bleached into the food. By the time you eat that repeatedly, problem. Cosmetic products, the same thing. There's the formaldehyde derivative. You look out for that. Look out for parabens. So by the time we are buying our makeup products, let's try to look at the ingredient as much as possible. Minimize use of makeup, especially for my gender.
Yeah.
Minimize use of makeup. The same thing with the dishwashing liquids. We should look at the ingredients. What are the preservatives inside? And with this, in this era of ChatGPT, what you all just need to do is just snap it, send it to ChatGPT, and then it tells you the ones that are healthy and the ones that are not healthy, and that will now advise you on whether should I go ahead. But generally, the stronger the fragrance, the more likely there are toxins inside.
The stronger
the fragrance. So as much as possible, stick with products that don't have such strong fragrance. There's that. Then the air quality. I was with a patient recently, and he said, "No, I don't smoke. Oh, do your friends smoke?" Yeah, actually, they smoke. So you're not smoking, but your environment, you stay around people who smoke, you stay around a place where things are always burning.
Yeah.
That affects the air quality of what you're inhaling, goes to your lungs, and then the problems start to arise. Your skincare products, the soap, the cream, let's look at the ingredients. If you're not so sure of what is healthy and what is not, Google is your friend. Just try and check it up, and then you see the one that, okay, this is not so healthy. Okay, can I do without it? Yes, I can do without it. You swap it for a healthier product as much as you can. If you can prepare it yourself, that's fine.
You can prepare it yourself. Okay. I'm talking about microwave. So you said it's unhealthy to microwave with the plastic, but microwaving food, is that okay?
Yes, so far it's not been shown that microwaving food is bad. It's now what we microwave with that we're having more problems with. So it's essential that you don't microwave plastic at all. If you want to microwave, you can microwave glass.
Okay.
Glass plates or stainless steel. These are safer things that you can use in your microwave than things like plastic.
All right. Loneliness is deadly.
Okay.
And you talked about it, that even in the animal domain, if an animal wants to attack another, they first of all isolate them before they attack.
Yeah.
So, and really, how can we deal with loneliness? In the era of, you mentioned AI and ChatGPT, where people are having digital companions.
Oh, yes.
There's a lot of
They're
digital.
even naming their ChatGPT.
Yeah, there are a lot of digital companions.
bestie.
People have girlfriends online now, and but still lonely somehow.
Yeah.
So how do we deal with loneliness? Since it's a big part of our, efficient, healthy life.
Yeah, loneliness has been shown by some studies to be as dangerous as physical inactivity, even more dangerous than smoking.
More dangerous than
Yes,
smoking.
some studies have said it is more dangerous than smoking, but it's dangerous. That's dangerous.
Yes.
Now, what loneliness does, like I had earlier mentioned, is that loneliness triggers the brain that I'm unsafe. Things that there's no other person with me. I'm by myself. So, and the brain is not able to differentiate between physical stress and emotional stress.
Correct.
So now the brain releases cortisol. Again, this cortisol. But cortisol is not the
Everywhere
enemy.
cortisol.
So the brain releases cortisol to manage the stress that it got signal about.
Yes.
That will now cause raised heart rate, raised blood pressure, poor sleep. It interferes with your sleep, and we already mentioned some of the benefits that sleep. In fact, the same mood regulation that loneliness would have caused, sleep would have helped us to address it. But a person who is lonely, because of the stress hormones already released, now cortisol is called a stress hormone.
Yeah.
Now, because of the stress hormones that are released, the person is not able to sleep very well. So the person is further stressed, and then it just instigates this cycle.
Spiral.
Now, loneliness also interferes with the immune system. How? The same stress hormone causes a whole lot of hormonal changes that cause immune depression. So such a person is more likely to be ill. So that means that the person is likely to be ill. Now imagine being ill and nobody's coming to say hello.
Hey.
So it just
More trauma.
worsens it. Now, you mentioned social media connection.
Yeah.
We were meant for community, not virtual community.
Yeah.
As much as that is good, but it doesn't replace physical connection. I had a colleague once that jackbad, and she jackbada. Jackbada is
Coming
she
back.
came back.
Uh-huh.
She came back. Reason is she said, I beg, I no fit dey there only me.
The reason is she can't stay.
That was the reason she didn't stay. She didn't stay. She came back. That's because a lot of the problems that people who jackpot face is they are alone. Nobody to. It's not just that they're alone. Even if they call, it's not the same as the person you're seeing daily.
Yeah.
And then when they now jackpot, time difference also further worsens the problem. So at the time you're awake, me, I'm sleeping. I will sleep now.
Yeah.
So there's the whole mess up of the interaction. So that now further worsens the whole loneliness thing that they already feel. They now start combating with depression, which is why lonely people are more likely to be depressed too. Because of the same stressor, there's decreased dopamine, decreased serotonin. So these are supposed to be mood stabilizers. Now that decreases, stressor is increased. It now predisposes that person to anxiety, predisposes that person to depression. So we were meant for community. So what can we do? We should meet up with people in your compound, at your workplace. Especially people that say church is in the home.
Yeah.
Please go out and interact. Because going to a fellowship gathering, it gives you opportunity to interact with people. Now, those small micro connections, they have a calming effect on the body. So when there's a calming effect, it means cortisol starts to go down. So those interactions would also help you to feel better. Now, you also need to sleep.
Yeah.
As much as possible, try to sleep. But first of all, you have to have addressed the loneliness problem.
Yeah.
So meet up with people, interact with people, step out of your comfort zone. Somebody said maintaining friendship in adulthood is hard.
Very
because
hard.
there's whole pressure of life.
It's really hard.
It's hard, but you now have to be intentional about doing it. You cannot just call when you feel like
Yeah.
you should. If you have to set timers in your phone, reminders on Tuesday, I will call BC. On Wednesday, I'll call Frank. You must do that, or I'll go and visit my neighbor. You have to be intentional about connection, and then be the friend too.
Correct.
So it's not just expecting it from people. Be that person people can come and talk to. Be that person who people can reach out to. So that would now help you to combat loneliness and then reverse the whole problems.
I like that. If you only do one thing for longevity in 2026, this year, what single habits gives the biggest health return?
Single habits, biggest health return. It's really difficult to pick one
Okay.
because each and every one is important. From nutrition, what we eat, it affects our health in several different ways. Exercise, we must exercise. Somebody asked on a WhatsApp group I belong that what is your wellness routine? What is your body reset routine? And I said it's exercise. Because when you exercise, your body releases dopamine, releases endorphins. These are feel-good hormones. They make you feel good. So beyond the physical benefits, exercise stabilizes your mood. You must exercise. You must avoid alcohol and toxic substances. Now, if you must take alcohol, because some people say red wine is good for the heart. That's what they say. Though the wisdom in that is not exactly the wisest thing. Why did they say red wine? I'm sorry to digress. Red wine contains resveratrol. Resveratrol in red wine is found in grapes. It's found in berries. So it's found in fruits. So if it is the constituent of red wine, just go and eat fruits. Because by the time you're taking red wine for the benefits of resveratrol, you have to take a lot of it to get that benefit. Because resveratrol has been proven to be good for the heart health, right? But you have to take a lot of red wine to get that benefit that is inherent in red wine. Meanwhile, you have a lot of it in grapes. So avoid toxic substances. Sleep. You must sleep. You must maintain social connection. We cannot but interact with people. Like the Bible will usually say that one shall chase 1,000, two shall put 10,000 to flight. So we even tend to achieve more when we interact with people. So that's why it will be difficult for me to pick one. Because there's no one that is all round beneficial by itself. It's everything together.
So are you saying you can be exercising and eating bad and you're unhealthy?
Oh, yes. Imagine I go to the gym. I carry all that. They will usually say, I chop all the iron there. I chop iron. I'll now come back. I'll sit down. I'll eat bread, hot dog, fizzy drink to wash it down. Now, the benefit I thought I gained, I've reversed it. Because beyond the fact that the disadvantages of this thing, they are messing up my guts, messing up the hormones. In fact, it's funny that our reproductive health is also affected by what we eat. So we can, even if we say we want to sleep right, we're not exercising, we're eating junk, we are not getting any benefit. It's funny that it's been shown that overweight people who exercise tend to live longer than normal weight people who don't exercise. So the fact that your weight is okay, you now think that you are healthier than the other person who is overweight but exercising, that person may actually be healthier. So that's why we need a fine balance of everything. We cannot do one, do it well, and then trash the others. You finish exercising, you don't sleep well because you want to be rich before you sleep. You're messing up the whole thing. Or you finish exercising, you are smoking. How now? So
you've heard it. In fact, this is a masterclass. And what else can we say? But all thanks to Dr. Tina Yusuf for coming. So, Doctor, thank you for coming.
My pleasure to
Thank
have
you.
been here.
Thank
Thank
you
you so much for having me.
All right.